Arianna, great to see you. Welcome to Pop Alternative.
Peter, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Black Phone 2. I mean, spooky season, the talk of the town. Everyone's freaking out about this movie. Everyone was freaking out when it was announced that we're going to make a Black Phone 2. Because the way the Black Phone ended, it's like, what are they going to do? We knew it was going to be different, but it's crazy. Take me through finding out about the potential of a Black Phone 2, even before officially getting cast. It's crazy, right?
Right. It's so crazy because here's the thing is I watched the first film and I loved the first film because I'm not a huge horror movie watcher, but this one I thought it's perfect. It was just so well done. It was so emotional. Everything about it just checked all the boxes for me. So I was like, I love this movie. And I had no idea that they were coming out with a second one. I hadn't seen any articles or anything until I get this email and it says Black Phone 2 to play Mustang. And obviously, to get any audition is such an exciting thing, but it's very rare that you get an audition for something where, A, you know the team backing it and you admire the team backing it, but B, it's a film that you've watched and loved and you already know the world. So I was beyond excited, but I was really curious. I said, how is this going to work? Because they didn't send the script. Some auditions we get the script. This one I didn't. So
I was gonna ask that. Absolutely. It's maybe did you know it was Blumhouse? Did you know a little bit? Well, did you know it was Black? You knew it was Black Phone 2.
I knew it was Black Phone. It said Black Phone 2, so I was like, okay, we're back.
Maybe they don't even tell you it's Black Phone 2 and they're like Blumhouse sequel. How stressful would that be?
That would be something else. No, they do that sometimes where they don't tell you the title of the film and you just know you're going in for something and you're like, this seems a lot So yeah, no, I definitely knew going into it, which was really helpful because I had some material that I could study and really figure out, okay, what's the tone? Where are we coming from? And how could I possibly fit into this narrative?
It's funny you mentioned the tone because I feel like watching both, they feel like the same world, but at the same time, it's completely different. You know what I mean?
It's amplified. Everything that you liked in the first film, it's that times 10, and then they're going to add more. But I always say this. I say they took what they needed from the first film and built on it, but it was clever. And I think that's what makes the second one so fun because it is scarier, but it's not like it's just extra blood. I think Scott is so detailed and so specific about every single thing that he does that I think there was nothing in the film that he can't explain. And I think that's what made it so enjoyable to watch because you felt like there was a lot of care that went into this. And so that's why I'm so excited about this sequel because it is, I think, so much scarier. There's a lot more action, but it's well done and it honors the first, which is a huge win to me.
Well, perfect segue, because I'm really curious to know what you think about this from an acting storyteller perspective and from a preparation mindset zone perspective, Arianna, right? There's two things at play here, right? You're part of, a big world of Black Phone, Blumhouse, right? But then having nothing to do with that, just in general, you're in a horror movie at a time where horror movies are the biggest movies that come out, right? Those are two different things, right? If you think about it, right? So what's that kind? Do you think about that at all? It's Black Phone, it's you're in a horror movie, but it's you're in Black Phone 2, right? And it's two different things if you think about that a little bit.
Totally. I think that's such an interesting point because you're right. There's the horror culture, but then Black Phone, it gathered such a loyal and big following that almost created its own little subculture and its own world and its own little community that you're so right. I think there was horror from a general understanding, but then it's what is this Black Phone world? And I think what really grounded me in the reality of this very specific world was just really taking in what Scott did in the first one. And I'll say it again, it's just that the emotional life in this film feels so distinctly Black Phone. We really care about the characters and their emotional journey and the trauma that they go through. And I think for me as an artist, developing my backstory and just the detail that went into Mustang, I really wanted to honor the detail in everything that went into these characters. And so for Mustang, I was going back to Nebraska and studying my Western roots and riding horses again. And I wrote a biography and I talked to Demián and made a playlist, what kind of songs I think she would listen to. And so there was a lot of care that went into that because I know how much Scott and Cargill and the whole team put into Black Phone.
It's almost like you know what I'm going to ask because your answers right here are like a perfect segue. Like you're a pro. It's crazy.
We got the synergy. Yeah.
Well, I feel like, okay, so at some point you get the scripts. Like they don't give it to you for the audition.
Not the day of. I hope not. Yeah.
So you get this script, and I'm a filmmaker, so a lot of my questions are very craft-based because these are the things I think about, right? So
Love it.
there's two things at play where you want to know about what's going on with Mustang, right? Like your character, that arc, that storyline. But then there's like the stuff that maybe Mustang's not really involved with as much, like the overall story of the Black Phone 2 with like the return of Finney and Gwen and all that, right? Are those two different things when you're reading a script, like your character's journey and then the overall kind of world, or is it one big thing?
Absolutely. Great question. Because I had to think about that a lot for this film because, Mustang has an interesting role in the sense where she's not necessarily crucial to the plot, but she is a bit of like, she moves it along a little bit. And so I really had to get specific about and ask myself, like, what is my role here in this whole experience? Because truly we're being driven and we're along the ride with Finney and Gwen. But I think that for me, I really had to find that extra layer that Mustang added. And I think what I discovered was she's the grounded energy. She's the one who's like, okay, this is what's happening and I understand, but what can we do to move this forward? And okay, so if we've learned this, then that means we need to do this. She was, I think, very rational and kind of just, let's move. And there's a beautiful scene that I auditioned and I believe it got cut, but it was basically just telling Gwen, like, you don't have time to be scared if you're busy fighting back. And I think that line defined so much of Mustang's role, but also just kind of an overall theme. I feel like Gwen went through that experience too. So yeah, I definitely had to find where my role was so I knew how to serve my purpose without overstepping. And obviously I wanted to honor everything that they have and they've created. And so I really wanted to just kind of move that, but not make it like, Mustang show. And so I really did find the little puzzle piece that I lived in.
That's a wicked line. Absolutely.
Scott Cargill.
There's different ways of how we consume and watch media, TV and film. There is, and we saw it with Black Phone 2 where, premiered at Fantastic Fest and the film festivals, right? And then there's the theatrical release. And then for TV shows, Arianna, right? There's the binging everything all at once, right? And then the weekly drops where we have to wait a week, to have those dinner table kind of theory kind of conversations with your family and friends. Do you ever think about how people are going to be watching the content you're making while you make it at all? Because I find that very interesting.
Yeah, like kind of like what kind of setting would I picture these people being in?
Yes. Community, absolutely.
Yeah, because this is really such a community-based film. Like people want to talk about it. People want to collaborate about it. I love kind of seeing the discussions that the fans will have about they're so invested in the stories and like the subtext and they want to know all the little like, well, maybe this meant that. And so I love watching people kind of try to form their own little hypotheses about what's going on and who these characters are. And so I totally see this being kind of a group. Everyone's hanging out in the living room kind of with their snacks and they're talking about it at the end. Because I remember after the first Black Phone, I wanted to talk about it. I was like, Where did the grabber come from? What's his childhood drama? I really wanted to talk about it. So I think that would be the environment.
How do you go from that? Like, what is that like, that script to screen journey where like you could picture, and I feel like it's interesting because like you said in the beginning of this interview, which I think really interesting, you did have reference points about like when you work on a sequel, you do have reference points, right? Because like that world's already existed a little bit, but it's like you read what's going on in this second film and you could picture as much as you can in your mind, but like when you get there, that's when it becomes real. So what's that script to screen journey like for you, for Arianna Rivas, for Black Phone 2, so to speak?
Oh man, it's funny because I've found so far that it's different for every film, like how close it will be to the script. And what really blew my mind with this one was how close they got it exactly to what I had read. I had read it and I could picture it in my head, and they got it, I think, exactly to the T. From even they had this scene where there's the snowman and he splats into the window and it forms into the grabber. And I thought that's such an interesting effect. And I just wondered, how are they going to make that work? And exactly how I'd pictured in my mind is exactly how it would come out. So it was really cool to kind of see the imagination come to life on a screen. So I would say they did a really, really great job. And again, I think it's that specificity.
I swear I did not give you the questions beforehand. You're literally, because this next, no, it's like, it's crazy. These are just best kind of like segues ever. It's great.
Yes, we're locked in.
No, and you're going to laugh the way I say. So like, and I was going to bring this up, even if you didn't bring that up just now, but it's like, I feel like getting into like becoming a storyteller, everyone's on the same path where they watch their favorite TV films and movies, and at some point they're like, I want to do this, right? I want to be part of this, right? That's how it was for you, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Do you feel like you watch things differently now that you know how they're made?
It's almost ruined movie watching for me in the sense where I am always thinking about the technicalities of this now, where I'm thinking like watching Margot Robbie now, I'm like, oh, I see her animal work. Oh yeah. Her body language just changed right there, where I'm fully watching for, or well, why did they use this camera angle?
Oh, yeah. That's why they did a wide shot.
That's why they did that wide shot.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's an interesting close-up. Oh, the way that he's offset, I wonder what that was like. Yeah, I know, I told my friends now. And my friends get annoyed watching movies with me because I'll stop and I'm like, wait, go back. Do you see that background actor right there?
Yeah. No, it's so crazy. And, number one movie, Black Phone 2, which is so exciting. And people can go see it in the theaters. It's out now. It was so great chatting with you. Thanks so much for your time.
It was so fun talking to you. This was so much fun. Thank you for the really thoughtful and fun questions.
I really appreciate that. Your Instagram account is just your name if people want to keep up to date with everything, right?
That's it. It's just Arianna.Rivas.
How exciting is it? I do this thing with my friends, whispering for emphasis. When I get really excited about something, how exciting is it to finally post some BTS photos?
Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for the day. I've had albums just locked and loaded.
You probably had, you rapped and you probably had, hundreds of things that you're like, I know when I'm posting these things.
No, and it's so hard to pick. I'm like, I want to post all of them, but I can't.
I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. You were excellent in the film, too. All the best. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and good luck to you with everything.
Thank you. Well, this has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. You can catch Arianna Rivas as Mustang in Black Phone 2, which is now in theaters. Until next time, this is Arianna and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.